The candle at dinner buzz around me like a restless mosquito, its presence more irritating than relaxing. I glanced across the table watching Rachel, my wife of 6 years, pick at her grilled salmon with a fork. She wasn't really eating it, though. Her focus was glued to her phone, her thumbs swiping up with methodical precision. "Can we at least enjoy one meal without your phone?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. She looked up startled, like a child caught sneaking candy before dinner. Her lips parted slightly as if to offer an excuse, but instead she gave a curt nod and flipped the phone face down on the table. For a moment, I let myself believe her compliance was genuine. I wanted to trust her, but the small sly smile playing the corner of her lips told me otherwise. As I sipped my wine, my eyes drifted back to the offending device. I couldn't help but notice the screen flicker faintly with a new notification, and then another, and another. Rachel's hand inched toward the phone, her fingertips brushing against its edge, like it was some lifeline she couldn't bear to lose. I wasn't born yesterday. For months, I'd sensed something was off. The late nights at work, the cryptic messages she'd hastily delete when I entered the room, the way she avoided intimacy like it was a chore. I had chosen denial because the truth would hurt too much. But tonight was different. Tonight, I decided to face the truth. "Go ahead," I said, motioning to the phone. She hesitated, then picked it up, her eyes darting nervously to mine before unlocking the screen. She tried to angle the phone away from me, but it was too late. Over the rim of my wine glass, I caught a glimpse of a name, Evan. My chest tightened as she began typing, her thumbs moving quickly, my gaze burning holes into her, but she didn't seem to notice or care. "Who's Evan?" I asked, my voice calm despite the storm raging inside me. Her head snapped up, her face paling. "What? Evan?" I repeated, enunciating each syllable like a slap. "The guy you're texting during our dinner." Rachel froze, and for a split second, guilt flashed across her face. But then she recovered, her features hardening. "You're being ridiculous, Mark." Ridiculous? That single word unraveled me. Before I could stop myself, I reached across the table, snatched the phone from her hands, and hurled it against the wall. It shattered on impact, the sound echoing in the dining room like a gunshot. Her gasp was sharp and indignant, but I didn't care. For the first time in months, I felt like I had control. "What the hell is wrong with you?" she screamed, rising to her feet. "What's wrong with me?" I shot back, my voice rising to match hers. "You're sitting here in our home, at our table, texting some guy while I'm pouring my heart into making this marriage work. What's wrong with you?" She stared at me, her mouth opening and closing like a fish gasping for air. For once, she had no clever retort, no manipulative twist to make me the villain. That silence was all the confirmation I needed. By the time Rachel stormed out of the house, slamming the door behind her, my mind was already racing. My rage was a wildfire consuming every rational thought. But beneath the anger was a cold, calculating determination. I wouldn't let her betrayal destroy me. No, I would destroy her first. The next morning, I called out of work and spent the day gathering information. I started by pulling up our shared phone account. It didn't take long to find Evan's number. It was one she had been texting obsessively for months, with messages often exchanged late into the night. I hired a private investigator, a no-nonsense guy named Frank with a reputation for getting results. Within days, he delivered a thick manila folder containing everything I needed. Photos of Rachel and Evan meeting at a hotel, copies of their text messages, even a screenshot of her booking a weekend getaway with him on our joint credit card. It was worse than I'd imagined, but it also gave me clarity. Rachel hadn't just made a mistake. She'd built a life with this man behind my back. The revenge. Step 1 was securing my finances. Rachel and I shared a bank account, but I had a personal savings account she didn't know about. I transferred a majority of our joint funds into it, leaving just enough to avoid suspicion. Then I froze our credit cards, ensuring she couldn't rack up more debt in my name. Step 2 was the house. Rachel had always assumed it was our home, but in reality, I bought it years before we were married, and it was solely in my name. I met with a lawyer and started the eviction process. By the time she figured it out, it would be too late. Step 3 was exposing her. I wasn't content to simply end things. I wanted her to feel the full weight of her betrayal. I compiled every piece of evidence Frank had gathered and sent it anonymously to her family, friends, and colleagues. I even included a link to the hotel's online review page where I posted a scathing and truthful review detailing her escapades. The fallout. When Rachel came home that evening, she was greeted by a locksmith changing the locks. She stormed up to me, her face a mix of fury and panic. "What the hell is going on?" she demanded. I handed her a manila envelope containing divorce papers along with copies of the evidence I gathered. Her eyes scanned the documents, her face growing paler with each passing second. "You think you can just throw me out?" she hissed. "This is my home, too." "No," I said. "It's my home, and you've overstayed your welcome." She tried to argue, to cry, to manipulate her way back in, but I didn't budge. By the end of the week, she was gone. The final blow. Evan didn't escape unscathed either. I found his employer, a small tech startup, and sent him a polite email detailing his behavior, complete with timestamps of his rendezvous with Rachel during work hours. Within days, he was fired. Rachel's life quickly unraveled. With no job, no home, and no support system, she was forced to move in with a distant cousin who lived hours away. Her social circle, once filled with mutual friends, dissolved overnight. And me? I thrived. A new beginning. The first few weeks after Rachel's departure were eerily quiet. But the absence of her toxicity was liberating. I focused on rebuilding my life, channeling my energy into work, hobbies, and reconnecting with friends I had neglected during our marriage. One evening, as I sat on the porch with a glass of wine, watching the sun dip below the horizon, I felt a sense of peace I hadn't experienced in years. Rachel had tried to break me, but in the end, she only made me stronger. And that, I realized, was the sweetest revenge of all. So guys, if you all liked today's story, please like the video and subscribe to our channel, and don't forget to press the bell icon. Thank you for watching.